If you've been on the internet at all, you've probably heard of Poppy, or at least seen some of her clips.
I'm Poppy, I'm Poppy, I'm Poppy, I'm Poppy, I'm Poppy.
Or maybe you have a life and you haven't, but either way, Poppy is this girl who has become an internet pop star through her weird style and unique videos. She's gained millions of views and a cult-like following of fans over the past 5 years, but today we're gonna take a look at how this entire persona may have been stolen from another girl years ago. This is Poppy vs. Mars Argo.
I can do whatever I want with this code. I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you know how? Piles of paper, my desk is out.
Hi everyone, it's me, Titanic Sinclair. I'm a director, and I make videos.
Before we dive in, this video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. If you don't know, Adam and Eve is a huge adult store that's been around forever, and I actually have a joke with my friends that in 10 years I'm gonna be selling toys on my kitchen floor like Trisha Paytas, so I had to get the ball rolling with this sponsor. Adam and Eve gave us a 50% off code Primink for 1 item off plus free shipping to US and Canada. They have a 90-day no-hassle return, and the coolest part is 20% of their profits go to fighting the spread of HIV around the globe. It's a great deal, it's a great cause, go have fun. Not while you're watching me though, you creeps. Let's start with the basics. Who is Poppy? Before Poppy became what she is today, back in 2011, she started off as a normal girl who was aspiring to make it in the music industry. She had an old channel called Mariah Poppy where she would upload vlogs and her music.
I'm Poppy. Today is October 6th. October 6th.
This old channel had a lot of personal, random videos on them. They gave me the vibe of a normal YouTuber in that time period, just uploading whatever they felt like with no rhyme or reason. Over these years, Mariah didn't have a breakthrough moment with her singing, but then, all of a sudden, in late 2014, a major shift happened with Mariah.
I was created on January 1st. Can you see the difference? What's happening to me? Is Poppy okay?
In an instant, all of her videos were deleted. Most of these videos have been wiped completely from the internet with no trace whatsoever. This was done very intentionally. I've heard that Poppy takes down any clips of her old videos quite often. I might even get in trouble just for showing these clips. Poppy, you better not touch my video, you little AI freak. During this shift, she also changed her channel and stage name from being Mariah Poppy to just Poppy or That Poppy. Now this new Poppy was very strange. Her entire style had changed. She went from being a very sweet and relatable girl into becoming this almost robot-like character.
Today we're going to learn how to play the P chord.
She began talking in a high-pitched ASMR-like voice and started uploading videos that didn't seem to make any sense. The videos seemed pointless, but from a marketing sense, these videos were being used to create a mystery so that in return the audience would share the video around and Poppy's music would get free promotion. It's kind of like that creepy ice cream commercial from years ago.
I eat little baby's ice cream. It keeps me young.
This video really isn't about ice cream. It's just a weird video that people would share to their grandmas, and maybe a small percentage would look into getting the actual ice cream. This advertising method works very well. Companies use it all the time, especially during the Super Bowl. That's where you get all the weird ones. And Poppy was now using this method to promote her music. As the years went on, the videos started to gain a direction. Instead of being completely random, they started to tell a story. Though the story is very abstract, when you deciphered it, you realize that in these videos, Poppy was poking fun at the music industry, critiquing how celebrities are seen as objects that are easily replaced and simply used to make money.
You are just a puppet for them. You are fake and plastic just like every other girl in Hollywood.
It was a really interesting concept. She became this anti-celebrity. Eventually, Poppy started to gain a ton of traction. The weirdness attracted thousands of viewers who had a very die-hard love for Poppy. I'm gonna be honest, a good chunk of her fans are kind of psychotic. They remind me of the BTS fans on Twitter. Don't talk bad about them because they'll take you out. They're insane. I mean, I love them. Don't find me. Everyone was trying to figure out what was going on with this strange Poppy girl or make sense of what she was trying to convey. YouTube channels even started being fully dedicated to solving her mystery. Everyone wanted to know who Poppy was. And a fun fact, just to show you how secretive Poppy is of her past, all of her social media accounts are blocked from being searched on the Wayback Machine, which is a website that lets you see a web page as it was years ago. So they basically blocked the public of seeing anything to do with Poppy before 2014. They are trying extremely hard to cleanse the internet of pre-Poppy media. They want to keep this mystery going. Poppy has now been doing this for over 5 years with amazing success. She's released countless songs, and I can safely say she's claimed her place as an internet pop star. But soon, whispers of a darker story started to appear.
I've been down, I've been everywhere, but I'm alright now.
Now this is where the story gets a bit weird. In 2009, 4 years before Poppy appeared, there was a girl named Mars Argo. Now Mars Argo was also a girl aspiring to be a singer, and just like Poppy, she made these bizarre videos to promote her music.
Welcome to our computer show. I'm Mars Argo.
The series of videos were called Computer Show, and I think it's pretty clear to see that the videos were quite similar to Poppy's.
Chips.
They had the same voice, the same style, the same quirkiness. They both were artists. There was even a few times in Poppy's videos where she would blatantly reference Mars Argo's work.
3:36? 3:36? Oh no, I'm late. I'm so sorry, but I have to get going.
Just like Poppy, Mars Argo gained a cult-like following through these videos, and can I just say, kinda random, but I really like Mars Argo's music. Like, I know I'm supposed to be unbiased here, but music-wise, I think I'm team Mars Argo. I'm sorry, Poppy, you're a bit creepy. So Mars Argo's videos went on for about 5 years, and she released multiple songs, just like Poppy. Her career was on a steady rise, but one day, the videos just stopped. The last video to appear on the channel was called Day of Retribution, and in the video, Mars reads the transcript of a mass killer's suicide note.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution, the day I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you.
It's a little creepy, I gotta say. Along with the stop in videos, Mars Argo also seemed to vanish from all her social media. Everything became frozen in time. And sometime after that, all the videos were deleted from her channel except for 3. Nearly the exact same time Mars vanished is when Poppy first appeared. And that's why this was so weird. It was like this very unique person just vanished, and then almost instantaneously, a girl exactly like her appears.
I'm already late. I have to go.
Where's Mars Argo?
But there seemed to be a simple answer to all these questions. If you looked in the description of any of the videos by Mars Argo and Poppy, you will see that they both were directed by a man named Titanic Sinclair, and he's actually seen in a lot of the Mars Argo videos. Now this makes sense. They were both directed by the same man, so of course they would have a similar style. It would also explain why Poppy's videos sometimes referenced Mars Argo. It was like Titanic's way to pay tribute to his previous projects, kind of how like E.T. made an appearance in Star Wars. I later found out that Mars Argo and Titanic were actually a couple during the time of their show, and apparently the reason it ended was because they broke up. Apparently there was a now deleted tweet by Titanic Sinclair saying that Poppy was his new project, but he was still gonna work on Mars Argo. They just needed some time separated because they broke up. So at the end of the day, this all seemed like a simple explanation as to why Poppy and Mars Argo were so similar. It also explains what happened to Mars Argo and where she went. It was a case solved, mystery over. But Mars Argo never did make a return, and years later, we are let in on a very dark reason as to why. With the empty promise of Mars Argo's return left unfilled, the mystery of where she went began to grow again. It had now been nearly 5 years since she vanished, and the chances of getting any closure grew more and more slim. But shockingly, in 2018, Mars Argo came out of the shadows to file a lawsuit against Titanic Sinclair and Poppy. Now this shocked almost everyone. Like I said before, it just seemed like a bad breakup happened between Mars and Titanic, but suddenly we are being told that there was bad blood, and everyone was shook. So in this lawsuit, Mars Argo claimed that Poppy and Titanic copied her entire identity. She even claimed Poppy dyed her hair the same color and heightened the pitch of her voice to match hers, which I can confirm Poppy's voice is a lot higher now than it was in her older videos.
Well, it's October and Halloween's coming up.
Politics. I like politics. I like Hillary Clinton.
It was all very strange. One of the most shocking allegations in the lawsuit was that Titanic had been abusing Mars Argo physically and mentally for years during and after their show had ended. The lawsuit was a lot. It was like 50 pages. I read all of it, but I'm just gonna go over the highlights. I'll leave a link to the full one. Whoever wants to read it, it's interesting. Go do it. Go read a book, boys. So from the beginning, Mars Argo and Titanic met on MySpace and began dating shortly after. In 2009, they started their computer show, and Mars claims that Titanic would belittle her during this time. She says she thinks this was a way to keep her under his control. He would call her old and say that she needed him to be successful or that he could replace her at any time. And if she ever did try to work on something independently, he would talk doubt into the projects to make her feel untrusting in the people she was going to work with. And then after she lost her confidence in a project, he would help her write the letters to turn the projects down, keeping her trapped with him. In 2014, after years of working on the computer show, she discovered Titanic was cheating on her. After confronting him, she decided to break off the relationship, but still wanted to continue the Mars Argo show with him strictly as professionals. But Titanic didn't accept this breakup very well. Mars goes on to say how he began harassing, stalking, threatening, and abusing her. She says he would repeatedly show up to her house unannounced and broke in multiple times through the window. One of these times he broke in, Mars actually wasn't home, so he went on her Facebook to block all of her friends. Kind of like when an obsessive boyfriend/girlfriend doesn't let you talk to anyone of the opposite sex. She only later found out about this incident when she tried to message one of her friends and it just wouldn't let her. Another time she says he broke in again, drunk, and was mad that she joined a Facebook group. She says he started smashing her wine glasses on the floor until she told him what the group was. And Mars actually has a lot of pictures for all of these incidents, which add a lot of credibility to her claims. On another date, after midnight, Mars received a text from Titanic with a picture of him sitting at her front porch with a message reading, "You probably blocked me, so F you." Can you just imagine your ex taking a picture outside your house at midnight? Call the cops, Mars. Now, since the computer show project was ending, Mars began working on going solo. She claims that Titanic ended up hearing about her plans to go solo, and in retaliation, he went to her home and quote-unquote viciously punched her. But to be fair, there was no clear evidence of this incident, which I thought was very strange because Mars was pretty good at documenting all the other incidents, but she didn't document her being punched. And another thing I found was that she posted a picture of her in Japan a few days after this incident supposedly happened, which makes the time frame a bit strange and not line up correctly. Out of everything in the lawsuit, this was the one thing that didn't sit right with me. It seemed a bit off. Now, when this lawsuit came out to the public, it went viral and everyone began talking about it. And because of that, Poppy actually made a response on Twitter. This was one of the only times you'll see Poppy out of character. In the response, Poppy denied all the claims of the lawsuit. She even said the abuse never happened, which is weird because there's no way Poppy can claim abuse didn't happen in a relationship she was never in. You know? Poppy went on to say she's a victim of abuse herself and this lawsuit was hurting her deeply. The whole response had a very victim mentality to it, and it was trying to paint Mars Argo as the manipulator and not Titanic. A day after the Twitter response, Poppy uploaded a video to her channel called Drama.
My name is Poppy and I live in Hollywood. Hollywood could not exist without drama.
The video, in my opinion, seemed to be mocking the whole situation, and it seemed to take jabs at Mars Argo for not being famous.
Some people become famous, but most people do not. It's difficult to become famous in Hollywood. It's not difficult to watch other people become famous.
The next video Poppy uploaded seemed even darker.
No. What is this? This usually doesn't happen. Why are you doing this? You're too close to me.
given the claims of the lawsuit about Titanic breaking into Mars Argo's house and abusing her, and the timing of this upload, this video appeared to be mocking those incidents, which if that's the case, this entire thing is extremely gross. Remember earlier I said Poppy's videos referenced Mars Argo's videos and it was like a nod to Titanic's previous work? Well, with this new information, those references get a darker meaning. Instead of being a way to pay homage to his old work, those references now feel like a way that Titanic was showing Mars Argo that he could replace her, and that she did need him to succeed like she claimed he had told her. It is very dark, but don't worry Timmy, it gets worse. Later, Mars began a solo project under the new name Guppy. She registered the domain for Guppy Feels and made social media accounts to match the name. But while working on this project, apparently Titanic got word about it and released a song of his own called Guppy, and the lyrics seem to be clearly directed towards Mars. Now I can't play the song because we're already pushing the limit. Poppy's already gonna kill me because I showed her before she became a robot. But here's a snippet of the lyrics. I hope you're having fun in your hotel. Hope you're having fun with all my friends. Cause we both know that you've needed a vacation in La La Land. You've been working so hard. Yeah, you probably wanted a break. You spent a year doing nothing. Now you're in New York on holiday. Creepy. Later, Titanic posted a picture of a creepy drawing with a caption that read, I drew my mom Diane tonight. I miss my mom. Which, Diane is not Titanic's mother. It's Mars's mother. The majority of all these incidents happened nearly a year after the two broke up, and that just makes them even more creepy and obsessive. With no signs of the abuse or harassment stopping, Mars stopped posting on all social media and moved away to hide her whereabouts. Finally, she seemed to have been free from Titanic's harassment. But even with Mars now gone from the internet, Titanic continued to talk about her on his social media hundreds of times up until 2017. Of the things he said, he claimed he created Mars Argo, he claimed she was evil, that she gave up, he wrote all of her songs, she didn't do any of the work. All of these tweets are now deleted, but I did manage to find some copies. At the end of the lawsuit, Mars also showed quite a few instances of where it appears Poppy is copying her, and that basically wraps up what the whole lawsuit was. Through this lawsuit, Mars was seeking a restraining order from Titanic and wanted some reimbursement from Poppy and Titanic for copying her work. This whole situation went insane. Everyone started covering it, it was a huge story, and it was looking pretty good for Mars. Everyone seemed to be on her side. She might have even won the case, but shockingly, the lawsuit ended up being settled outside of court. The settlement papers were also online and I went through all of it. I had to do a lot of reading today, guys. It was not fun. The main agreements in the settlement were Titanic and Poppy both agreed to not mention Mars Argo ever again on their social media, and they had to cleanse any mention of her that previously had been made, which Titanic had to remove over 12,000 tweets. It was also agreed that both parties will not acknowledge any wrongdoing going forward, so Titanic and Poppy could publicly say they did nothing wrong. Titanic also agreed to give Mars Argo 100% ownership of the Mars Argo project and all the accounts connected to it. Titanic also agreed that he had to get rid of any compromising photos of Mars Argo that he had. In the end, no money was exchanged. And this seems to be the closing chapter for this wild ride of events. The media coverage died down, Mars Argo had gotten the ownership to her beloved project back, and she was now free from any harassment from Titanic. So did Poppy copy Mars Argo? It's undeniable that these two were extremely similar, but was it copying? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Who the frick knows? But I do know it is really hard to prove someone's copying someone else, especially in a creative sense. And since Titanic directed both of these artists, couldn't you just say it's just his style? So maybe it was the best idea to settle this outside of court. Mars got the rights to her work back and she's away from Titanic. And on top of that, Titanic and Poppy can claim innocence, so it seemed like a win-win. The weirdest thing about this whole situation to me was that almost instantly when it all ended, everything just went back to normal. Poppy is still making her videos, she's still being directed by Titanic, and Mars Argo is still inactive. And with the severity of the claims, I kind of expected something more. Cancel culture must have taken a holiday during all this, like nothing happened. The irony of this entire situation is that these videos were supposed to be commentary on everything wrong with the industry. The manipulation, the expendability, the controlling of celebrities. When at the end of the day, Titanic seems to have been guilty of all of these.
Gravel road, I've been asked to slow down. Fireplace, do you know how? of paper, my desk is out.